So let me talk about what happens when you hire us as your lawyer. So you come in, you meet with a lawyer, you decide it's a good fit for you, we decide it's a good fit for us, we shake hands, sign on the dotted line, we're now your official attorney of record. At that point, there's a lot of busy work within our firm that occurs. So the attorney will then assign a primary paralegal to help support the case. And then that you'll likely meet that person or receive a letter or email from that person introducing themselves. And then that paralegal, at the direction of the attorney, then sends out what are called letters of representation. So we send a letter out to the adverse insurance carrier, to your insurance carrier, to your health insurance carrier, so on and so forth, advising them that we now represent you as the individual. So all communication should then be routed through us so we can help manage your claim and move it forward as fast as possible. And then at that stage, assuming you're still treating or have been treating medically with doctors, we would then order your initial round of chart notes, right? So every time you go and see a doctor, they actually chart what you said, what they saw, what their opinion was, and what they did for you, right? Subjective, objective, plan, and assessment. So they go and they create these notes, and so we gather those notes from the doctors, and we also gather the associated bills, because that's part of your claim is the bills. We then also reach out to, if you have a wage loss claim, to your employer and start gathering employment-related information in terms of the wage loss you've suffered. Okay, we reach out to the health insurance carrier and get the health insurance lien, what they've paid that they feel is related, and they feel under their contract that they have a lien against your claim for, because we want to double check and make sure, are those bills actually related to your claim or are they related to something else? And if they're related to something else, we then challenge those and get them wiped from the lien. So you're not paying the health insurance back for something that you wouldn't otherwise lawfully have to pay for. So this is all going on as you're ideally just focusing on your treatment. So you're seeing the doctors, you're going to your physical therapy, you are doing the rehab. That's what you're focused on. We're focused on the legal aspect of that. So it relieves you of all that legal pressure and you can just focus on the healing, whereas we're dealing with the legal pressure and moving the case forward in the sense of gathering the information. We're gathering police reports, we're talking to witnesses, we're taking recorded statements. We're sending a lot of times private investigators out to document a scene before it changes, right? So we're doing everything we can to gather as much information as possible because we know we're gonna need that down the line to resolve your case, either through negotiation with the insurance carrier or through a more formal process known as litigation, right? And then finally, when it comes time that you are medically stationary, you're done treating, the doctor's like, hey, you're good. You're as good as you're gonna get, okay? Then we evaluate all that information. We bring you in to meet with us, the attorneys, right? And we lay out, this is the good, this is the bad, this is the stuff that's right in the middle. And then we give you our assessment of what the value is. And only with your okay, because we're a team, right? So only if the team agrees as to the value do we move forward from there. And sometimes there's conversations about that we need to have. Sometimes we bring our other law partners in. Sometimes we ask a retired judge to come in and give their opinion. So there's various ways to get to the value, the assessed value of the claim. And then we come up with a game plan in terms of, okay, this is the value of the claim. How are we going to approach that? How are we going to get the insurance carrier to that value or higher, right? But at least to that value so that you have a quote unquote good settlement at the end of the day. So frankly, that's a longer conversation for a different video, but that's basically what happens when you first sign up. Again, this happens over the course of many weeks or sometimes months, but when you first sign up, the information gathering, the notices that go out, and then it brings us up to the evaluation process. And then we have a negotiation phase after that, only if necessary, a litigation phase after the negotiation phase.